Good morning and welcome to App Marketing Conversations. I am Ryan Morrell with GameHouse. As always, I'm here with Ian Sefferman of Mobile Dev HQ by Tune, Roby Ganguly of Attentive. Getting really close to the mustache. It's a little weird.
It's got a life of its own.
I like being over there better. Okay, so we're going to talk a couple things today. So the first one is a change that kind of just happened without any news around, was Apple changing the App Store icon from free to get. And they didn't really say anything, but it's clearly in direct response to them kind of getting slapped and the EU really probing them on the word free being misleading around apps that have in-app purchase. What's your initial reaction to this?
My initial reaction is good that they changed it. It does feel like apps that are heavily dependent upon in-app purchases should probably not be listed as free. I think get is just like a strange word to use. Why not download or install or use?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I would have liked them to have been a little bit less like, we're just going to do this and change it on our customers and change it on all of our developers and make it a little bit more obvious what was actually happening and tell people about it and tell people why they did it. So pluses and minuses. Ultimately, I'm not sure it affects too much, but
Yeah. What do you think?
I mean, I think when everything is get instead of free, the net effect is not very high. So it has more to do with them covering their asses than like really an important communication step in favor of consumers.
right.
Yeah.
Which I think needs to probably start to come from the developers themselves rather than from the platform owners.
Yeah. Well, I think it's the sign here is that, at least from my perspective, is Apple especially. Apple is a company that is known to not respond to outside threat in a positive manner, right?
Yeah.
So, but they are responding to this,
Yeah.
and I think one of the points here would be that there's now real money involved. And large sums, especially from a developer perspective, that you really have to start paying attention to the regulations, children's protective acts, et cetera, because people will come after you, and you likely have a lot of money for them to come after. Right? It's a dramatic change from where we were just a couple years ago.
I think you're exactly, like, I think COPPA is such a big deal that doesn't get talked about.
Yeah.
And the moment that the government starts to want to actually enforce at a bigger level, and they're starting to show signs of that, there's going to be a lot of people hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the developers and companies we see getting ahead of this are very much concerned that if they don't do it, at some point they will get blasted basically by the governments of the regions they operate in. In particular, when people are operating in Europe, they start to get really sensitive about data storage and privacy and PII. And I think the more that app marketers are thinking about this and getting in front of it, the better you're going to be, because having to go fix this stuff retroactively in a rushed manner is not going to be fun.
Sure. Yeah, I think if you are a marketer, you really have to make sure that you are using the best tools, using the best partners, that they all understand this stuff. It's like, selfishly from our perspective, this is why we hired a chief privacy officer, right? Like we're handling data that goes back and forth a lot, and we needed to make sure that we were not only in compliance ourselves, but that our customers were in compliance, that we could help them understand the ecosystem.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so I think in summary, I would say this has been the Wild West for a long time, and it might still be the Wild West-ish, but there are clearly regulators in town now, and so you just got to be a little bit more careful.
Right.
Okay. So the second thing we were going to talk about, Roby had brought up Product Hunt this morning for different reasons that we'll talk about here, but so my question to you guys is Product Hunt, or is something like Product Hunt a viable option for developers to use as an additional discovery mechanism? And does it matter? Do they need it?
Well, so I think you should always be exploring new channels and testing to see what's working for you. And I've definitely seen launching or talking about a new version on Product Hunt. So it's worth experimenting with. I have yet to hear it from anybody anecdotally that, wow, I got a ton of downloads and lots of interest around it. But if you want to try and surface what you're doing, maybe get it in front of early adopters, it's probably useful. And from that perspective, it's just another channel you're experimenting with.
From my perspective, it's less about marketing to consumers and more about marketing to Silicon Valley.
The technorati.
Yeah, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, right? Like there's a lot of VCs who look at Product Hunt. There's a lot of influential people who look at Product Hunt, and if your goal is to make sure that you get out to those early adopters, or if you're trying to raise a round and you want to raise your profile, that's all useful things to do. I'm just not convinced in any way, shape, or form that you're going to, at least today, right? Maybe this changes in the future, but I just don't think that you're gonna actually see any real adoption from Product Hunt.
Yeah. Okay. So summary there would be, it's worth trying because continuing to test new channels for user acquisition is a good thing, but unlikely to drive meaningful installs, but maybe meaningful ancillary benefits.
Yeah. You know where I think is like a similar idea that has consumer appeal that I don't think that, first of all, they've done a good job of making sure this doesn't happen, but second of all, I don't think people have done a good job of trying to understand how to influence it, is Reddit, right? Like Reddit has huge traffic, community driven, feels like for the right opportunity you should be able to understand how to sort of market to those guys. The people who I think do the best at this are actually entertainment and movies,
Yeah.
right? Where they'll have the sort of standard play for the last 50 years has been, I have a movie coming out, I'm going to have my actors go on the Tonight Show and the Late Show, and they're going to do the rounds. And now they're going to go on the Tonight Show and the Late Show, and they're going to do it in AMA on Reddit, and that draws a lot of interest and publicity. And I think that app developers and app marketers could find interesting ways to do that type of thing as well.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Anything else to add here, Roby?
I mean, just going back to the previous point, like if you're a marketer and you're not thinking about privacy, you're not thinking about the fact that your free app is not really free and you should communicate better, you should get out in front of that. And this holiday season is going to be huge, and then the aftermath from the holiday season is going to be pretty big.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks very much for watching. Make sure to check out the other segments from Ian and Roby. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time.